So why don't we look at the most beautiful part of sex and what it adds to people's lives?
The beauty, right? So I'm actually, I love it. I want to answer that question, but I also want to say when people have the most exciting, stimulating adventures with each other, and whether it includes sex or no sex or whatever they want to be in couplehood that works, what I find when couples into my office, I say, we really have to look at how what's bringing you into the office is your partners are triggering yourselves, right? You're triggered from your partner's triggered from you, and you're in here for a reason. And so I wonder, and when I wonder with them, I said, I wonder, partner A or partner B, what is the opposite partner? Partner A, what's in B, and partner B, what's in A, that really is triggering you? And if you really look into the U-turn, or the idea of what is it in me that is triggered, that I'm getting triggered by my partner, that's causing this very issue. And what I found is that when we look at our partner and we then look at ourselves about why we're triggered about our partner that's creating the problem, if we do the U-turn into our own being, we can find out more about ourselves and how that trigger is really something inside me that needs to be healed. Sure. So when I work with couples and we all three of us, or they do what I ask them to do and really look inside themselves, how they heal is recognizing in themselves how they have the issue, and the partner seems to trigger that issue in them. So when you're able to heal each person individually, they see each other differently in a different lens, and then it becomes a pleasurable way of being with each other. So I think the pleasure actually starts with the individual looking inside them of what the problem is and what's happening in them that their partner is raising an issue for them. So when they heal that, and you can do that in partnership in your couples sessions, when that happens, the dynamic of what happens sexually between them, what happens emotionally between them, all of that creates an incredible new relationship. And that is it's what you've learned from before, finding how you're triggered from it in the problem, and then coming out of it on the other side, learning how you were triggered. Then your partner doesn't trigger you anymore, and then you end up having a much better total relationship. So the sex is just an outcome of that. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I love what you're saying, and it seems to speak to my initial question about, is sex about pleasure?
Not always.
Yes, your answer was not always. Sex happens as it falls into place beautifully and deeply when other things are walked through. Specifically, you were saying taking responsibility, looking into yourself and realizing you are triggering that in myself because I have an issue with this particular thing already historically, and we love people taking responsibilities. I mean, I feel that that's very much what love is. Big part of what love is. I will take responsibility for my own issues before I start blaming you for them.
Or that what you're doing is what's triggering me, which is my issue. I need to look inside me to find out why I'm getting triggered by what you're doing. And often, the imago, right? We all marry somebody or partner with somebody that's going to, as Dick Schwartz from Internal Family Systems says, our mentor, they're going to torment us, but mentor us at the same time. And we have to look inside us to find out, what did I need mentoring in? And often it comes from early childhood experiences, frequently, right? So what has happened to me that I don't remember in my implicit memory, my left brain, my conscious memory doesn't recall, but my implicit memory is being triggered by the other. And that creates a problem. And then they end up in our offices. And it's all good because when we learn what's happening within ourselves, I mean, as anybody, clinician, client, doesn't matter, as a human being, when we learn that about ourselves at such a deep level, we become intimate with ourselves so we can allow intimacy with the other. And you have to know yourself. And if you don't, that's part of the issue. So yeah, it can be amazing. And intimacy, sex, the whole bit is really about how to know yourself and love yourself in a way that the other doesn't bother you because you've got that covered in yourself. And then you can have sex with pleasure or not with pleasure, with pain, with whatever you want, the type of sex you want to have. And you can have it incredibly intimately too. But you can have the wide variety, the whole umbrella.